Good morning, everybody, and welcome. This is a slow flow class, or gentle vinyasa yoga. So in this practice, you'll need a yoga strap and 2 blocks. If you don't have a strap, you could use a towel or whatever you have around the house. And we'll get started in a comfortable sitting position. So I'm going to sit on a yoga block. If you'd like to sit on the floor, if your hips are pretty open, go for it. A thick book or dictionary could do the job as well. So try to find an upright spine. And we'll take a few moments to connect in with the breath. Breathing in slow through the nose. And slow exhale. Try to slow the breath in about 4 or 5 seconds. Softening the belly quite a bit. There's like a super gentle tension. And then slow exhale breath. Follow the exhale all the way out. And on your next inhale, draw your arm bones back, lifting the chest. Lift the chin at the end of it. And as you exhale, round your back, taking the shoulders forward. Look towards your belly button. As you inhale, slowly roll up through the spine. Try to feel the sitting bones rooting down. And as you exhale, reverse the movement again, shoulders forward, rounding the back. Inhale, roll up through the vertebra. Let the shoulder blades slowly come closer and closer, and then lift the chin. And then exhale, shoulders forward, spreading the shoulder blades apart. And last one. Inhale, slowly rolling up. Open the chest, lift the chin. And exhale to a more neutral position, so we'll stay upright with a little bit of tension in the core. And then spread the arms out like wings. Take a breath in. As you exhale, look over your left shoulder, taking the right hand across to the other leg. Inhale back to center, spreading the arms, strong in the upper back. Exhale, twisting to the other side, left hand towards right knee. Inhale, center, opening the chest. And again, twist through the exhale. Do a few more at your own pace. So inhale, both shoulder blades could squeeze. On the exhale, we actually take that left shoulder forward, spreading it out. Right shoulder blade squeezes in. Inhale, center. Other side, right shoulder forward, spreading out. A few more to go. And whenever you come back to center, think of drawing the ears back over the shoulders, slight tuck of the chin. This is going to encourage your chest to expand up towards the chin. You might also find it helpful to gently suck in the low belly, below the belly button, while creating an upward lift in the pelvic floor. So that's working with the floor of the core below the navel. And then take your right hand over towards that left thigh. We'll pause there, looking over the left shoulder. You can also shorten the right side of the spine a little bit and lift the left arm a little bit higher. So we're introducing a side bend or lateral flexion into this simple posture. Maybe you feel some nice length going up the left side of the belly, all the way up through the armpit. And then come back to center. Take a breath in. Other side on the exhale. Left hand towards the right thigh. Open the right chest. And then introduce a little side bend, lateral flexion. Lengthening right side body. Reaching the arm a little bit closer to the ear. So even that right shoulder blade can start to spread out now. One more breath. I could stay here all morning. And then both sides of the core strong. Inhale, come up, and relax down. Good. Little neck circles. So bring your chin down, heart up. And then bring your left ear down towards the shoulder. And then lift the chin. Coming across the center, right ear towards the shoulder. And then lift the chin out to the right. And continue. And you can think of drawing the shoulders away from the ears in this position to create more of a stretch in the upper trapezius. That's our shoulder shrugging muscle. It gets a lot of use in the winter time when our ears are cold. So make sure you bundle up before you go outside. And we'll gradually meet on the left side. You can explore that little bit of lift in the chin, stretching underneath the neck, and then lowering the ear down to the shoulder, getting a little more into the side of the neck, upper trapezius. Nice. Slow, mindful movements. Feel free to close your eyes. And back when we could do more in-person classes, I used to see some private clients that had a lot of trouble with shoulders hunching from occupational issues. So I just drop my elbow right into their upper trap for a minute, and then it's like it opens up this range of motion. It's so cool. So if there's someone in your house, maybe get them to drop their elbow into your upper trap after class. Compassionately, of course. Great, then we'll go to the other side, lifting the heart, right ear to shoulder, and then lift and lower the chin. Inviting this lengthening underneath the neck, and then through the right or the left side of the neck, getting into the upper trapezius. And upper trapezius is just 1/3 of the trapezius muscle. You have your lower and middle portions as well. And we actually want to use those other portions a lot. So they relate to drawing the shoulder blades closer together. And then we'll come back to center. Very good. Roll your shoulders up and back. I call this the shoulder loop. So we lift the shoulders, draw the shoulder blades closer together. You're going to get some middle trap in there, and then relax down. Forwards, up, back, and down. And continue. And you might find that other parts of the spine get moving too. Awesome. Motion is lotion. And this big shoulder loop is something that we can use in so many different positions, including back bending poses. So instead of drawing the shoulders away from the ears and pulling, we actually let them come up a little bit and then lift the rib cage, pulling through. And I notice in yoga, a lot of people have been taught to draw their shoulders away from the ears, so they severely limit the mobility of the shoulder, and it gets kind of stuck in the wrong places. So try to introduce the shoulder loop as much as you can today. Gentle practice is a great way to play with these things, since we're doing simpler variations of poses and reducing the amount of load on our joints. That's great. So let's take that into table pose now. A little more challenging variation. So hands can be underneath the shoulders, knees below hips. If this is uncomfortable on your knees, you can take the middle of your mat and fold it over. I like to fold it over about 6 inches or so. So now I have a very padded area underneath the knees. And my preference is actually keeping the lower palm on the mat and taking the upper palm knuckles and fingers beyond the mat. So this creates a little bit of a wrist wedge, a little more comfortable on the wrist. Fingers spreading wide. Push into your hands, and then tension the core. Try the shoulder loop, bringing the shoulders up to the ears, shoulder blades closer, and then we draw the shoulders away from the ears and push through the hands. Soften the effort, looping shoulders up to ears, shoulders closer, and then push through, spreading shoulder blades. As the heart melts down, we can bring the shoulders up, shoulder blades closer, and then push through. And so keep playing around with that. You can try going faster and slower as well. You can also try reversing the direction. It's a little more challenging. And the main thing is feeling it out in your body and see what feels right in this moment. As we continue to play with these techniques, what feels right will change. Sometimes it changes quickly in a week. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes we don't even notice the changes until we stop and look. That's great. And then we'll sit back onto the heels, toe squat. Gently press the backs of the hands together, making circles with the wrist joints, curling the fingers in towards the forearms. If this is too much for your knees to sit this way, you can come up into more of a camel position. And then we'll come back to table pose. Pushing into your hands, spread the shoulder blades, and then press your hands towards your knees to engage these muscles underneath the armpit. So feel free to even take your right hand and grab hold of that left armpit. Notice the effect of letting the shoulder go up to the ear. It's easy to lose the lats. And then push your hand back towards the knee. Notice that contraction. So as long as we can keep some engagement there, you can let your shoulder go forward or back. It's really up to you. And we'll do the same with the other side. Pushing the right palm towards the knee. Maybe you can feel the muscles under the armpits contracting, your lats. Those have the function of depressing the shoulder. But if we can keep tension in those muscles, there's no reason we shouldn't also lift the shoulders. So you can really play around with that action. Now, planting the left hand, take the right arm forward, left leg straight back, and then return to table position without letting anything else move. Inhale, left arm forward, right leg back. Exhale, returning to table, and continue. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, table. Inhale, other side. Exhale, table, and continue. If you feel stress in the wrist, a little bit's all right. You can reduce the angle at the wrist by taking the hand further forward. Try to spread the weight through the whole hand, from the index finger knuckle outwards to the little finger. Extra strong in the upper palm. A few more to go. Notice there's a tendency to arch the back and drop. So we're trying to maintain the connection to the core, maintain the connection to the lats. If we get these underarm muscles working well, this will tend to automatically connect us with the deeper layers of the core strength, that transverse abdominis. So next time the right arm comes forward, we'll hold the pose for 3 breaths. You could have your palm facing the floor, try to straighten the arm. You could also try turning the shoulder so that the thumb is up. A little more external rotation. Find what feels right. And then come back to table. Other side. So inhale, left arm forwards, right leg back, holding the posture. Continue breathing through the nose. Maybe it's palm down. Maybe you're adding a little bit more external rotation. Both ways are right. Palm down reflects downward dog a little bit more. And then come back to center. Very good. So now we'll take the big toes to touch. Keep the knees apart. With your left hand on the floor, inhale, open the right arm. Exhale, thread the needle, bending your left arm, reaching through. Inhale, right arm up. And continue with that movement. Feel free to modify by simply touching the floor with your right fingers and then reaching the right arm up on the in-breath. So in cases of pregnancy, that's a really good modification, leaving the deep twists out of it. Otherwise, deep twist, bending your left arm, reaching through, right shoulder blade spreads out. Do a few more of these movements. And last one. So exhale to thread through, and we'll hold the posture. About 5 slow breaths. Gently press the back of the right hand into the floor, activating the right shoulder, the deltoid, and then take the left arm up to the sky for an extra challenge. Strong in the core of the body. And then exhale to lower your left hand. Inhale, right arm comes up. Open your chest and pause there. Make some big circles in the right shoulder. So forwards by the ear and back by the hip. As you reach forward, you could have the palm down like down dog, or you can turn the arm so thumbs up, which is training a little bit more external rotation. If it feels good, go for it. And we'll reach the right arm up and hang out. About 5 slow breaths, strong in the left side of the core, strong under the left armpit by pulling the hand towards the knee. And exhale, slowly releasing down. Take the right hand down. Inhale, open the left arm up. Exhale, thread the needle, reaching underneath the arm. Again, inhale, lifting the left arm up. And continue moving with your breath. It's amazing what you find under your couch when you practice at home. Remember that modification? You could pause touching the floor as an alternative. If it feels good to do those deep twists, go for it. Connecting with the core as you twist. Drawing the front ribs in as you twist. A few more to go. And we could think of these movements as modified side planks going into a modified deep twist. It's just really good, honest movement. And what's really cool about these poses is because the pelvis is fixed in position more or less, it becomes really clear where we're moving from. So it's a great opportunity to get into some of the cobwebs that build up. And then we'll thread through and hold the pose. Left shoulder blade spreading out, reach way underneath the couch. And then you can stay on your right hand or reach the right arm up. We'll take about 5 breaths. Draw your front ribs in by connecting with the abs. And then try hiking up the left hip to create a bit more space on the right side of the body, between the right hip and the ribs. Two more breaths. Breath is always quite interesting in these twists. It's probably harder to breathe. That's a good thing. And exhale, lowering the right hand. Inhale, left arm up. Open the chest, stack the shoulders. Big circles in that left shoulder. Forward by the ear and back by the hip. As you reach back, you could internally rotate the shoulders, so thumb is down. As you reach forward, try to externally rotate, thumbs up. And then we'll pause at a sweet spot, wherever that may be. Maybe you're reaching straight up to the sky, slightly hiking the right hip and contracting the right side of the core, lengthening left side of the body. And exhale, slowly bring the hand down. Very good. And then we'll bring the hands a little bit closer to our knees. Come back into a toe squat. And then roll your shoulders up and back. And from there, we'll come back to table pose, but bring the hands a little bit further forward than your shoulders. You can also have your hips or your pelvis a little bit further forward than your knees. Now, as you exhale, send the heart forward. Hands are pressing back towards the feet. As you inhale, press up. Exhale, coming forwards. Pull back a little bit. Inhaling, come up. We'll do a few more like that. And in terms of where the elbows are relative to the waist, I try to focus on keeping the elbows a little bit off of the ribs. So not out like this, but a slight abduction. It helps to sort of scrub the hands towards each other and then pull back as you lower. So a few more to go. And now find a sweet spot. So we'll bend the elbows and hold, keeping the hips just off the ground. 5 breaths here. So 1. Try pushing the hands towards each other to activate the chest. 2. Pull the hands towards your hips. 3. Feel free to bring your hips all the way down slowly. 4. And 5. And then relax, coming onto your forearms. Sphinx pose. Same principles. Feel free to bring your elbows a little bit further forward than your shoulders. And you can also take the elbows out a little bit wider than your mat, so we're allowing a little bit of inward spin in the shoulder. And take a few breaths here, relaxing the effort. The legs can be relaxed. So 0 effort at the moment. And then even less effort, letting the heart melt down. And then lift your shoulders up to your ears, and then pull with the arms, lifting the heart. Relax the effort. Take a full exhale. On your inhale, slowly come up. Exhale. So come down again. We're going to bring the hands back a few inches. And this time, lift the elbows, lift the shoulders, and explore the shoulder loop as you come up. And then relax down. So my hands are wider than my mat here. Try it out. Loop the shoulders up and back. And then come down. To make your arms longer, you could even try this on your fingertips. Really great technique. Looping shoulders up and back. And keep experimenting with different positions in the hands. It's going to be different for everybody since our arms are different lengths. Shoulders are of different width. Main thing is just experiment. Looping shoulders up to the ears and then pulling back to get the squeeze between the blades. And that's really what's going to help us get the most complete kind of back bend. And just to give you a really good visual, what we're trying to get out of is the pattern of pushing. We're trying to get into lifting shoulders and then pulling, but the hands are stuck to the sticky mat. And that was the biggest cue that changed the whole practice for me, was learning how to mellow out on things and explore the pulling action. The muscles that pull are usually not used enough in everyday life, and they get overly stretched out and relaxed from too much slouching and sitting. So this is a great opportunity to help awaken that. So we'll hold this last one. I welcome you to also bring the feet together and try to lift the knees off the floor, just a millimeter. Just enough that you feel something in the back of the legs. You can also squeeze the heels and activate the buttocks, the glutes. If your lower back hurts, try using your fingertips instead. This just reduces the amount of pushing in the hands, so you can really dial into the pull. And exhale, come all the way down, lowering the head. And then bring your left arm out, bending the elbow 90 degrees. Feel free to open it up a little bit more than that. And with the forearm on the floor, we'll slowly roll over onto the left side. You can take that right foot behind you. Head resting on the floor is option 1. Option 2 is lifting the head and chest, gently squeezing that left shoulder blade to middle back. Use the support of your right fingers on the floor. Option 2, pick up the right arm, squeezing both shoulder blades. And try to slow your breath down, drawing the breath deep from the belly all the way up to the heart and collarbones. And then come back to center. We'll do the other side. Bringing the right arm out, elbow bent 90 degrees, or open it up a little more if you prefer. Gently push into the hand and roll over, squeezing shoulder blade to middle back. Head could be on or off the floor. If it's convenient for you, you might even support your head to get that little lift. Press through the left fingertips for support. Next phase, bigger squeeze in the shoulder blades to lift the left arm up. Three more slow breaths. And then slowly let go. Come back to the center. And we'll bring both arms out to the sides. You can straighten the arms, unless you're limited by any objects around you, like I am. So I'm going to work with bent arms. If you can, keep your arms straight. Start with the forehead on the floor, legs together, squeezing the legs. Inhale, lift the arms, engaging upper back. Lift the head and chest. Exhale, come down, relaxing down. Inhale, lift arms, strong upper back. Lift the chest, option to lift the chin. Exhale, down. Add the legs to it. Inhale, lift arms and legs, strong upper back. Gaze down the nose as the chin comes up. Exhale, lower. Continue a few more at your own pace. There is the option to modify with the chin tucked in and the forehead on the ground, which just helps you isolate the movement more to the lift of the arms and the legs. And we'll hold the last one, 5 breaths, so lift whatever you can. Slight tuck of the chin, and then explore the lift of the chin once that's feeling pretty good. Try to squeeze the legs together. Work the inner thighs. Exhale down. Rest your hands on the floor, forehead to hands. Tuck the chin, lengthening the back of the neck, and breathe. Relax the body. Tuck the chin. And notice the feeling of the belly expanding against the floor on the inhale. So for this next one, we'll bring both arms forward, palms face each other, thumbs up. And we'll start with the legs on the floor, legs relaxed. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the chest. Exhale, slowly come down. Inhale, lift arms, lift the chest. Exhale, lower. So if the neck is sore at all, you can do this with the forehead on the ground again. Inhale, lifting arms. Exhale, lower. 2 more to go. Inhale, lift arms. Exhale, lower. We're going to hold this last one 5 breaths. So inhale, lift the arms, head on or off the floor, your choice, and breathe. Try to have the arms straight, palms face each other for maximum external rotation. Eventually even turning the palms open to the sky for even more. 2 more breaths. And exhale, resting the forehead on the hands. Relax down. All right, I got one more back bend for you. And we'll move on. So we'll take the knees wide apart, bend the knees about 90 degrees or so. Sorry that I'm blending into my couch today. This was not intentional. So heels together, knees wide. Lift the arms like cactus branches. Lift the legs, squeezing your heels, and breathe. Try to contract between the shoulder blades. Head on the floor is always an option as well. Awaken the buttocks, lifting the knees. 2 more breaths. And exhale, relaxing down. Hands under shoulders. Push up onto the knees, strong in the core. And then from there, we'll take the forearms forward. Elbows where your hands usually would be. Coming into this variation of puppy dogs. You can rest the top of the head to the floor or top of the forehead down, is my preference. Gently engage the abdominal core. And take some deep breath. Elbows close to the head. Gently push through the forearms. And maybe you can feel the shoulder blades spreading apart. And tune into the sensations of the breath. It could be very gross physical sensations like shoulder blades moving with the breath. It could be more subtle sensations like watching the flow of the breath through the nose. Or even more subtle, just imagining the inhale starting in the pelvic floor and then rising up the spine. And the exhale has a way of contracting, pulling the ribs into the center, ending in the pelvic floor. About 3 more breaths. And then pushing through your forearms, lift your head a little bit. Bring the elbows back just underneath your shoulders. It's really nice to have the hands on the floor past your mat if it's a good solid surface. And then tucking the toes under, we'll push into the hands, spreading the shoulder blades. Press your elbows towards your knees to engage the lats under the armpits. And then pick up the knees. So this is like a table pose on the forearms with the knees hovering. And then as you exhale, bring your right knee towards the right arm without moving anything else. Inhale, come back. Exhale, left knee towards left arm. Inhale, come back. So these are very subtle movements. This is really about core stability and shoulder stability. A few more to go. Notice the internal heat you're creating. Good. Last one with the left knee. And then start to push your hips back. Imagine a straight line from the upper arm bones all the way through the spine. So we call this the forearm frog. It's kind of like downward dog, but we're bending the knees like a frog. That takes any tightness in the hamstrings out of it. And we're also using the forearms, which is an easier way to connect with spreading the shoulder blades, serratus anterior. Nod the head up and down, releasing the back of the neck. Strong in the core still. And then very slowly bring the knees down. And we'll sit back towards the heels, keeping the hands as they are. Puppy dog. So with the palms on the floor, try to straighten your arms. Hands could be shoulder width or even wider than that. Feel free to play around with widening the distance between the hands. Okay, option 2, if that's feeling pretty good, keep the arms straight. Lift the palms off the floor, coming onto the tips of the fingers. So it's like puppy dog playing a piano. Arms straight. Aim the elbows towards the floor to keep the shoulder blade spreading muscles on, the serratus anterior, and breathe. Now there is the option to come a little bit more forward with the hands, so the buttocks start to move away from the feet, inviting a little bit more of an extension through the vertebra and the spine. So you can play around with that. This also helps the heart move towards the floor and creates more of a lift in the buttocks. You can find the sweet spot. We'll hang out here for about 10 breaths. And this is another great example of how a gentle practice can help us move into places that are unattainable in a stronger practice. We're lightening the load. It's still quite challenging, though, as we start to awaken these smaller muscles in the body. If it ever gets tiring on the fingertips, simply bring the palms down again, or even rest on the forearms to relax for a few breaths. It's nice to give yourself like 5-10 seconds just to relax and then come back. Even if you're in a back bend, explore really using the exhale to connect with your core strength, with the energy of apana, the energy that pulls the front ribs into the spine, directing a bit more of a stretch into the shoulders and the lats, working this overhead range. 3 more breaths. And then slowly rest, hands on the ground, forearms on the ground. Bring the elbows closer to your knees, inching back. Whew. And then we'll meet up in a camel position. So if you have your yoga strap nearby, you can take your strap into your hands, and we're going to hold the strap behind the back. So I'm taking mine a little bit wider than shoulder width, quite a bit wider. And then with an inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, bring the strap behind you and tension the core. And continue. Inhale, try to gently tear the strap apart. And exhale, bring it behind you. If it's hard to straighten the arms, then take the strap even looser. If it's really easy and you like more of a challenge, then you simply shorten the strap a little bit. Oh, maybe that's a bit too much for me. I'm going to loosen it up again. There we go. So play around with it as you go. As you bring the strap just behind the heart and further down, you can work at squeezing the shoulder blade. So I start the squeeze from about this angle personally, even though I'm trying to tear the strap apart, and then keep it as the strap goes back. And it's a really nice stretch for the chest. And we'll meet around that position. So wherever you found the chest stretch, draw the ears back over the shoulders, and then engage the core, drawing the front ribs in, pushing hips forward, and hold. Try to strengthen the front of the neck. 2 more breaths. And relax down. Very good. We'll set the strap aside. And you're welcome to use yoga blocks for these next maneuvers. We'll take the yoga blocks to their highest heights near the front corners of the mat. And then come back to table position. So you're welcome to stay in table, pushing into your hands. Option 2 is pushing back to downward frog, bending the knees to push the hips back. And you can play with that spreading of the shoulder blades. You can play with pressing the heart towards the feet. See what feels right. And this next move could be done either in down dog or table. Lift your right leg to the sky, bending the knee, and make some circles in the hip, going out to the right and up to the sky, engaging the buttocks. So if you're in table, it's very much the same thing. Try to more or less isolate the movement to the right hip. Try to stabilize the rest of the body. And then we'll step that right foot just outside of the right hand. You may want to pad your left knee. I'm still using the fold that we made earlier in class. Works just as well to grab a pillow off your couch or whatever's around and put that underneath your left knee. These are brand new pillowcases. I'm just going to put that back and pretend that never happened. And so walk the right foot forward a little bit. Take a breath in to explore bending your front knee. As you exhale, lean back a little and try straightening your right leg, contracting the front of the thigh. Inhaling, bend the knee as much as you're comfortable. It's okay to go past the ankle if that's feeling good. And then exhale, leaning back, try to straighten the leg a little bit. And continue a few more rounds like that. If your focus is on the hamstrings, trying to loosen those up, it's good to focus on keeping your spine neutral, lifting the heart as you straighten the right leg. And you'll notice that with the neutral spine, there's actually a little bit of curvature that starts to form in the low back. So you can honor that natural curve. If you know you're quite flexible, you can still move into that place of neutral and then keep on going, bowing the head towards the knee. And then as you go into the lunge, try rolling up through the vertebra. Head is the last thing to come up. And this is called the spinal wave. About 3 more to go. Looking for that sweet spot. And then we'll pause in the next one, straightening the front leg. So maybe your spine is staying neutral and you're pulling back with the hands a bit to get the lats on. That's going to help you stick out the buttocks a little bit more to find your curve. If you're a bit looser, you might start by hinging at the hip, keeping those actions. Or you might even take the head down. About 5 more slow breaths. To get more into the calf, try flexing your right toes towards the shin, dorsiflexing the ankle. If that feels like too much of a stretch in the hamstring, then you could try pointing the foot, or you can back off a little bit, still engaging the front of the thigh. About 3 more breaths. So you might use your exhale to fold a little bit more. Listen to your body. After being in a pose for like 15, 30 seconds or so, sometimes our nervous system gets comfortable with the position, and then we're allowed to go further into it. Face relaxed, jaw relaxed. And then inhale, bend your right knee. Exhale, push off the heel, keeping the knee just over the ankle. Think of lifting the pubic bone, dropping the tailbone. And you can even slide your right hand back, keeping your right hand on a yoga block. Inhale, left arm up to the sky, close to the ear. Exhale, tensioning the core, lean over towards the right. Imagine your legs are a pair of scissors trying to close towards each other. So there's an intention to press the left hip forward and pull the right hip back, squeezing the legs towards each other. If you feel really stable in this position, option to take the right hand off of the yoga block, bring it to the left upper arm bone, the humerus, and gently push back on the humerus while keeping it close to the head. You can create a very gentle resistance, humerus pressing back against the hand. Very gentle. So we're training the body to be active within this range of motion. And then it eventually becomes accessible to us in other poses like forearm frog. And then we'll slowly come out of the posture. So you can take the hands down, step the right foot back to downward dog or table, and we'll do the other side. Circling the left hip, pressing the knee out to the left, up to the sky. Work with the glutes, the buttocks. Three more to go. And then step the left foot just outside of the left hand. Lower the right knee, use whatever padding you have available. And we'll explore the vinyasa, the breath-linking movement between the lunging position. So feet hip width or wider. And then straighten the leg as you draw back through the left hip. Inhale to bend the front knee. And exhale, lean back. I got my little helper here, making sure everything's checking out. Thanks, buddy. He seems satisfied. Energetically, dogs are good little meters. If you're calm, they might be calm. Maybe. Doesn't always work. So a few more to go. Feel free to move like waves if that's feeling good in your body. In that case, the head would be the last thing to come up in the lunge. And then we lead with the chin as we fold over the leg. And so in this variation, we're emphasizing getting a little bit of movement in every vertebra. So it's a global extension of the spine. Right up to the neck, even though the neck is the last piece. The neck is also the most flexible part of the spine, so we leave it out until the very end. And then look for a sweet spot. We'll straighten the leg, drawing the left thigh bone back, kind of like the scissor legs technique. You could be keeping your spine straight and neutral, perhaps dragging the blocks back, and then draw that left thigh bone in. Maybe you start to tip forward a little bit more. Maybe you're using the wave, bowing the head in. Your choice. About 5 more breaths to go. So we've already been here for over 15 seconds. You may find that you can fold a little bit more on your next exhale. Consciously contract the quadriceps while relaxing the hamstrings in those moments when you're exploring. And last one. Inhale to come up. Find your lunging position, feet hip width or wider. Exhale, engage with the core, engage with the buttocks, drawing the front ribs in. And then take the right arm up. Left hand can come down to a yoga block. So just by taking the hand down, we're encouraging a little bit of lateral flexion, shortening left side, and then reaching the right side over. And take a few breaths using the prop. You can explore how much of a bend in that front knee is useful. Where do you find the stretch in the front of your right hip? And then try contracting the right buttock. Maybe stay there. Maybe you're going to bend the arm and take the left hand to the upper arm bone, the humerus, and gently push back on the humerus. Inviting a stretch from the front of the right hip, up through the side body, all the way up through the lats, the armpits. Yeah, 2 more breaths. Inhale up to center. And then we'll slowly take the hands down, left foot back. And then from there you can bring your legs out in front, undoing the fold of the mat. And then place the hands about as wide as, hands behind you, feet about as wide as the mat. Lift the heart up as much as you can, looping the shoulders up and back. So shoulders go up, and then we try to lift the heart to meet the shoulders where they are. And then little squeeze between the blades. Now keep this position and windshield wiper the knees side to side. This is a really great exercise for working on internal rotation on one leg, external rotation on the other. And there's a bias towards internal rotation here, which most people need to work on a little bit. This will really help with back bending and standing and Even help us find more neutral positions in everyday life for things like walking and running. And then we'll take both knees towards the right side and pause there. Push more into your left palm, puff up the left chest, squeeze the shoulder blade, 5 breaths. Draw the ears back over the shoulders. Common compensation is using that neck flexibility. So chin back, heart up. 3 more breaths. I used to have to do this exercise for physio for what felt like forever. And it really helped. It's actually one of the key pieces of back bending and spinal extension. And then we'll come across, taking the knees to the other side. As the chin tucks, this encourages the thoracic spine to get a little more extension. What little extension it has, we want to take advantage of it as much as possible. And push more into the right palm, lift the right chest. A few more breaths. And relax. Very good. And so now we'll bring the legs out in front. You can loop a strap around both feet, holding the ends of the strap loosely. Imagine you're using a resistance band. Just pretend and try to pull back. And then see how much you can straighten the legs, rooting the heels into the earth and pushing the feet into the strap. We'll keep that upright spine. So we're working at getting the natural curves in the spine with the lift of the heart. And then from that position, engaging the legs. Imagine your legs were squeezing a beach ball. At the same time, try to push on the gas pedal with the feet. So awkward in that left foot. Toes spreading, heels rooting. And then inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, relax the effort. Walk the hands up the strap or hold on to the feet. Inhale, lift the heart. You can stay here. Or exhale. Stretching up. More deep, slow breath. And then dig into your heels, contract the buttocks, roll up your spine. We'll place the strap around the ball of the right foot, bending your left leg, straighten your right leg up to the sky, and lay down. Engage the front of the thigh and pull back a little bit. So you may feel a stretch in the calf, flexing toe to shin. You can work with that for a few breaths. You can also explore keeping the quadriceps contracted and pushing the ball of the foot out to the strap. So that's that gas pedal pushing action again. And then we'll make some big circles in the right leg, going out to the right and partly across the center towards the left. Big circles. Look out for that buckle. If you'd like an extra challenge and you know you're quite flexible, you can keep your left leg straight and try to limit the movement of the rest of the body. So it's only in the right hip. It's not that it's wrong to let the rest of the body move. That's actually totally fine. It's just an extra challenge of stability if you'd like to take it there. These really subtle challenges that carry over into more challenging postures. And now we'll bring that leg over to the left, taking the strap with the left hand. Gently pull back on the left. Use your left arm to pull back on the strap. You can either look up to the sky or turn your head to look over the right shoulder. And create a little resistance against the pull of the strap by pushing your foot against the strap, inviting a little outward rotation into your right hip. Maybe you can create some more space through the right side of the spine by contracting the left side of the core more, shortening the left side of the spine. And then very slowly bend the knee, come back to center. We'll take the left leg up, strap around the ball of the foot. You can start with your right leg bent, and then try to straighten the left leg as much as comfortable before pulling back. So try to get the leg straight, and then start to pull back a little bit, exploring with the quadriceps contracted. And see if you can get into the stretch of the calf, flexing toes to shin for the first few breaths. It's also good for getting into the muscles that are below the calf, the soleus. And then gentle resistance, push through the ball of the foot and explore big circles in the hip, keeping the quadriceps strong. And then just notice, is the arm doing all the work, or can we initiate the movement from the muscles around the hip joint? So it's more of an active movement from the hip, and then the arm is just creating a little bit of that extra passive movement. But we're moving from a place of gentle stability. The kind of stability we can call upon through the rest of the day. Again, if you want that extra challenge and you're quite loose, keep your right heel rooted and try not to let the body move. Mine's already moving right away. So you want to stay in the core in that variation, stay in the strength of your right buttock and your right quadriceps. It's actually quite challenging. If you do Ashtanga later, you try to do this in your one-legged balancing pose. Let's take hold of the strap with the right hand now, and we'll bring the leg over to the right side. And so you can push through the foot, creating a gentle resistance. You can also lengthen left side of the spine by contracting the right side. A little bit of lateral flexion in the twist. And the teacher that I draw most inspiration from, Richard Freeman and Mary Taylor, they teach all the asymmetrical stuff that way, and I found that it really made a huge difference for my hip, being someone who's asymmetrical quite a bit, with one leg longer, one hip higher. A few more breaths. And then slowly let go of the stretch, come back to center, set the strap aside, and hug your knees into your shoulders. Happy baby pose. You could do it with the heels near the sitting bones, or you can take hold of the feet, drawing one knee towards the floor and then the other, just like a happy baby would, rocking gently side to side. And then pause at a sweet spot. 5 more breaths, and then resting. Find stillness. You're welcome to close your eyes here. Relax the jaw. Relax the belly. And then make your way into relaxation. You're welcome to keep the feet on the floor, letting the knees fall in. If you prefer to stretch the inner legs, you could let the knees fall out with yoga blocks underneath the thigh bones. so that it could be a passive, relaxed resting position. And there's always classical Shavasana with the feet near the corners of the mat. And then take a slow breath in, expanding the belly, softening pelvic floor, softening low belly. Let everything go. And long exhale, letting go. It's like breathing a sigh. And relax the throat. Let go of all technique. These moments of rest can be deeply healing for the body, especially when we don't think we need them. So keep resting if you have more time. I'll leave you to enjoy relaxation on your own and cancel class now, or close the class down. Thank you so much, everybody. Happy holidays, and hopefully see you on the mat over the holidays. I'm going to keep classes going with classes during the week starting a little bit later. So if you're not a 7 a.m. person, I totally understand. I'll have some classes that start a little bit later in the morning during the week. Thank you.